Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard out on motorsportsreport.net, and it's today is January the 6th, and we are officially back racing. We don't let the moss grow under us for too long before we get back on the track, and we've already had a couple of big events, or we're in the midst of some big events that are going on to kick off the 2025 dirt racing season. How about that Tulsa Shootout? For over the past week or so that played out there and had all the features run on Saturday night. That was some really entertaining stuff that we saw there. And of course, we're also on Friday and Saturday of last week, we had the Ice Bowl down at Talladega Short Track. Sam Seawright picked up the win there in the super late model class, and now we're kind of in the midst of the Wild West Shootout. We've had 2 of the 6 events that they've got planned already run there. But let's start with the Tulsa Shootout and the micro sprint racing action that took on there at the Tulsa Expo Center. Some really good stuff took place. But what I noticed out of it, and you couldn't help but notice if you watched, was the amount of NASCAR influence that was there. Out of the, I believe it was 5 or 6 classes that ran, 3 of them were won by NASCAR drivers. Kyle Larson picked up 2 of them. No shock there, no surprise at all. And then Christopher Bell, who has been allowed by Joe Gibbs Racing to get out there and race a little bit on dirt, he picked up a win, absolute thriller in the non-winged outlaw race against Larson. Basically a photo finish there at the end with those 2 going at it, as they have so many times in that Tulsa Expo Center in Chili Bowls. Then you had other NASCAR drivers there. Kyle Busch was there. Sheldon Creed was there, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but there was plenty of NASCAR influence, and even all the way down to the junior class, you had NASCAR influence there. Owen Larson, Kyle Larson's son, was in it, as well as Brexton Busch, who was the overall winner with the junior class. Of course, that's Kyle Busch's son there, so that made it a lot of fun as well. But you can't deny the NASCAR impact on dirt racing when it happens. I've been, as we all probably have, we've all been to races where a NASCAR driver, whether it be Kyle Larson or Chase Briscoe, or of course up there at Bristol when they were running the dirt, there were several guys. Chase Elliott raced up there, and some others, and you can't deny NASCAR's impact. It draws fans. I'm sure it draws viewers to Flow Racing or Dirt Vision or whoever happens to be showing whatever dirt race is on at that particular time that has NASCAR stars in it. You can't deny that influence. Of course, Kyle Larson heavily involved in dirt racing with a high limit sprint car series that he's paired up with Brad Sweet on. I know a lot of dirt racing purists want to criticize NASCAR a lot, and I get that. But at the same time, you can't deny that it has an impact when NASCAR drivers show up. And also another thing that is highly debated in dirt racing is the impact of streaming. And I wrote something on motorsportsreport.net about streaming and what role it plays in dirt racing also. So you might want to scroll back and check that out on motorsportsreport.net. But as far as streaming goes, there's things to like about it and things to not. The tracks think it takes away from their financial income because of it. Probably does, I don't know. But at the same time, on the positive side, it does bring exposure. Seriously, let's think about it. Outside the micro sprint world, how many people had ever heard of the Tulsa Shootout until it started being streamed regularly as it was this past weekend? I have no idea what their viewership numbers were, but I'm sure they were good, not only because it was available, but also at the same time because you had all those NASCAR stars in it. So streaming definitely has helped that, and it because of streaming, there's more racing now than there used to be. The Wild West Shootout, it's been around, but once it started streaming and more money came in, because then you get big stars. Bobby Pierce is there, Garrett Alberson, Brandon Shepard, people like that are all participating in it, and largely because of the exposure that's brought on by streaming and the money that comes in because of the streaming as well. So you got all that going on. As far as the Wild West Shootout is going on, a major concern that I'm having for that is how long it takes the preliminary races to play out. Particularly, there's 2 modified classes racing there, which I have no problem with. Their being 2 modified classes. Having a total of 3 classes is usually what I advocate whenever I'm talking about how many classes should there be when you have a big event, a big show like the Wild West Shootout Super Late Model division with all those big guys in it. But the B-mains in those modified races are just killing the energy. So many cautions. Or just one right after another. Then you have track prep, which also does not help the energy at all. I have no way of knowing this. I don't have any. I write some stuff for Dirt on Dirt, but I have no way to know what Flo's numbers are. But there's no way that on that first night, especially when you had just caution after caution in the B-main races, and then followed that up with a long track prep, there's no way it didn't hurt their viewership. So it almost certainly had to, you would think. So there has to be some kind of fix for that. And something I've thrown out there on other occasions is limit the number of cars that can be in a B-main. You take, let's say you have 4 heats, and you take the top 4, top 5, whatever you want to take out of that, then take the next 3 finishers or the next 4 finishers in the heat race, and they go on to a B-main. If you're outside that, if you finish 9th or worse in a heat race, I'm not really sure you even need to be in a B-main. And that's what's happening. You're having these B-mains that run with 18 cars in them, and all the spins and all the cautions are happening at the back of the field. Where and then guys get mad at each other who are racing for 15th in a B-main, and then they wreck each other or something, spin each other out. There's another caution and all this, and then cars get tangled together, or fence gets damaged, or something like that happens as well. So, in my view, I like to offer solutions when I suggest there's a problem. Have 4 heats, take the top 4. Then have B-mains where you take 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th from the heat races. Everybody behind that, just as the old saying goes, transfers to the trailer, and come back and try again. If you've run heat races, if you've run qualifying heat races, and you can start no better than 14th in a B-main, it's probably best just to try to reload and try again, rather than get out there and be holding up the show. And that's what's been happening. Other solution, and the Wild West Shootout kind of does this, but you got to shift the running order. And I suggested the other day on Twitter, why can't we just have, when you have a major class like the super late models, why can't you run their entire show and then run everything else, the support classes after that? And somebody suggested, well, you don't sell enough hot dogs that way, and they have to do it. Now, I know, as I've said in one of these previous videos, the days of holding up the show to sell more hot dogs, those days had better be over, because fans just have too many other options of things to do. They'd rather go out and be held hostage, sitting out in the weather, too hot, too cold, whatever the weather might be doing, just to be held hostage at a dirt track for 5 hours because the promoter wants to sell more hot dogs. So we're going to have to find another way somehow to generate income. But nonetheless, I would love to see there be more efficient ways of running the preliminary classes and the preliminary races and the support classes, so that you're not just sapping the energy out of the show. But anyway, getting back, kind of the main point, the Tulsa Shootout was entertaining, and that's what racing's supposed to be. It's entertainment. It's all sports. That's what they're for, is for entertainment. I would venture a guess that with as well as the Tulsa Shootout went, the upcoming Chili Bowl, which comes in a few more days at the same place, Tulsa Expo Center, I would say it will be heavily watched because, and of course, knowing that Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson are back up to their old tricks of competing against each other in those races. But anyway, so look forward to that. Look forward to the rest of the Wild West Shootout. Make sure you keep checking up on motorsportsreport.net. Been a little bit of a change from what I'd originally planned on happening there, so we'll get more on that later as well. But anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch. And again, this is Richard Allen, motorsportsreport.net, and I will see you at the track.